Salutations, nerds. I'm Rick Y, the wise guy. And today is Wednesday, December 4th, 2024, and some recent news just hit that I thought I would touch base on because it's getting a lot of attention. And there's already a lot of speculation going around. So if you're into news updates and Americana, just make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, don't mind me through this. It is cold out here. So what do we know so far? A man by the name of Brian Thompson was fatally shot and killed right in front of his hotel this morning by a masked gunman who fled the scene and at the time of this recording has yet to be captured by police. Brian Thompson was the CEO of United Healthcare, which is a health benefits provider, one of the larger Medicare providers out there, and it's through a larger private United Health group. And from the reporting, it's apparent that the gunman may have actually been targeting this man and waiting hours outside of his hotel for him to come out. At this point, speculation is all over the place, and the motives still haven't really come to light. I don't think we will know much until the dude who allegedly shot Mr. Thompson is apprehended. And that's assuming he's going to be apprehended at all, because anything could happen at this point. He could be hiding, or he could be very well in a dark place having offed himself. Happens all the time with these things. But what I will say is I and everybody else, we should all probably just chill on the assumptions, because this is how conspiracies begin. Folks make assumptions without info, they run with it, and when the truth finally comes out, the damage is done and the people are already under the wrong impression. So let's kind of cool the temps down just a little bit. So why is there so much speculation at the moment with this dude specifically? First off, it isn't often that a person kind of makes such a dedicated attempt at carrying out these kinds of crimes, so it's noteworthy on that front on itself. But here in the United States, one of the biggest topics at the moment is medical treatment and specifically medical costs. And privatized health and insurance companies tend to be the forefront of a lot of these conversations. Over the past few decades, a large number of medical treatment facilities have gone from public to private. County hospitals that served their communities were overshadowed by larger, profitable hospitals. Some facilities shuttered their doors because they weren't able to keep up with the fewer services that they could provide. On top of that, politicians and legislators were constantly looking to cut costs, and so the quality of public care dropped. Privatized health was growing larger and larger, and now we have a system where too many people can't even afford that basic health care. Where we once had a thriving system for people to turn to, the sick and injured are now being turned away because they won't make members of the boards of directors even more money. If you didn't have insurance, the chances of getting care outside of an emergency room was slim to none. Not to mention, even if you didn't have adequate insurance and you paid into it with the higher premiums that Americans have been facing year after year, convincing them to cover the costs has been nothing, if not impossible, for a lot of people. Yet these companies and their top executives have been making massive profits. So it doesn't take a lot of thought before you begin to see a system that isn't made to help people more than it is to fill coffers. And when they fill coffers, they end up filling coffins. Whether people choose to forego follow-up treatment and get the meds they need with the therapies to avoid treatment altogether, the system of medicine that we here have in the United States right now, like many other private corporations, thrive on making money and not serving their communities. And in turn, a massive medical industrial complex rules. People who have spent thousands into their insurances are being told they don't actually need life-saving care. Not by a medical professional, but by a claims adjuster behind a desk who never even speaks to the patient. So you can kind of see why a lot of people are drawing this weird direct line to this man's untimely death this morning and the company that he oversees. I can tell you that when somebody's family member dies, it's difficult to console or provide any form of comfort in those times. Hell, I've had times where we came out of a full code, all of us sweating our asses off. We were moving fast, doing everything right, maintaining IV access, doing chest compressions, you name it. But in the end, there's just nothing you can do, and all the interventions fail. The grief and pain some people endure in those moments, they're incapable of fully grasping the situation, and in their pain, they lash out. You'll be called a murderer sometimes. I had a lady screaming that we killed her family member after we had done everything we could to save her. The pain and heartache is very real. And when it comes to this situation in particular, there are a lot of people who think this may be a time wherein a scorned family member of a person who was either denied care coverage by a company whose CEO was worth singularly $43 billion because the insurance company couldn't afford it. And something bad may have happened. So this man may have gone all the way to the top of the ladder and chose to take his pain out. That very well could be the cause, but again, we need to kind of refrain from jumping to conclusions. Although it does look targeted, as the perpetrator had been waiting for quite some time, the motive has yet to be revealed. So until that time, I suggest we kind of keep all the input to a dull roar. What I will say is that there are entities in this world that profit on the suffering of other people. Pissing thousands of people off is bound to happen. So you're either going to see more CEOs with better security, or this may turn out to be the catalyst for a much larger discussion. We'll have to wait. Also, if you're curious, there's a really good movie out this time of year. It's based off of a book by Charles Dickens. It's called A Christmas Carol. Maybe take a look into the storyline on that one. It's probably completely unrelated, but who knows. Until next time, stay tuned, stay engaged, and stay decent. Deuces.